Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today what we are going to be going over is my 2020 House predictions. Basically what you have on your screen right now is all of the 2018 midterm results. I made sure to match it up with the CNN results. This is I can't even speak today. This is pretty accurate for what actually happened on the night. And what I'm going to be going over is some states where I'm going to change some of their ratings. I think that there are going to be some Democratic pickups and some Republican pickups on the night. And let's just go over it, starting in the Northeast. When it comes to Maine's 2nd Congressional District, this kind of went to the Democrats in a surprise. I have a feeling that Trump will win it on the presidential level. However, I think Jared Golden is enough of a blue dog Democrat to retain this seat and stay within about maybe 5 to 2 percentage points, probably staying over the needed amount of margin, over 50% for the ranked choice voting to kick in. However, I do think that I forgot what seat this is. This is the 27th, New York's 27th. I have a feeling it's going to be lean. However, I think that at least Stefanik's House seat is going to be a lot closer than what it was. I'm going to just put it into the lean margin for now. And yeah, I also think that the Republicans are going to flip the seat. Claudia Tenney, she has definitely been fundraising and trying to fight back for her seat. And this was a seat that the Democrats did not necessarily think that they would pick up. However, they did, and because of that, I think that it's going to flip. I also think that, I believe this is Mike Levin. Oh, sorry, Zeldin, yeah. Zeldin's seat, I have a feeling it's going to go back into the likely characterization. I don't think that they have necessarily a strong Democratic challenger or well-fundrated challenger. However, I do think that within recent polling, King is going to very narrowly win. I don't even think he's running. I think he retired. But yeah, the state of New Jersey, I have a feeling it's mainly going to stay the same. However, Jeff Van Drew did flip parties, and because of that, I think he is going to retain his seat, but very narrowly. This went to Jeff Van Drew, the Democrat, back in 2018 by a likely margin. However, this was a previously Republican district, and I can see it staying with the Republicans in 2020, potentially flipping back in 2022. Yeah. And next up is going to be the state of Pennsylvania. So I have a feeling that oh, I just completely changed the characterization for that. Jeff Fitzgerald, I believe that's his first name. I think that he is going to retain his seat and actually retain it by a likely margin. Recent polling shows him up by quite a substantial amount, and I think that he's going to retain it. However, I think the Erie County District with Kelly as the incumbent is going to narrow up, as Pennsylvania will as well. And I think that the 10th Congressional District will also narrow up but still retain in the Republican column. When it comes to Virginia, I think that Barbara Comstock, Wexton, I think that she is going to retain her seat, but actually by a safe margin. Virginia turning more and more blue. And I think that they're going to retain every single seat that they won back in 2018. However, West Virginia, both of their seats, I think it's going to go back into a solid margin for the Republicans. They don't really have any notable Democratic challengers. Going into the state of North Carolina, this is completely different, so I just kind of had to make up what I think that they would have gone for back in the 2018 midterms. However, I do think that they are going to be likely in all of these seats. However, I think it's going to be super close for the what district is this? The 11th Congressional District. I don't know if it's exactly the same still. However, I think that even though the Republican is, an up-and-coming star of the Republican Party, it is going to get close, and recent polling definitely does support that. I also think, though, that Joe Cunningham in his seat is probably going to lose it by a narrow margin. Mace, the challenger, I think that she has pretty substantial fundraising numbers. I mean, Joe Cunningham does as well, but in my opinion, I think it's just going to flip. When it comes to Georgia, I have a feeling that Lucy McBath, I think that she's going to retain her seat, and they are also going to flip Rob Woodall's old seat. It went very, very narrowly for the Republicans last time, being decided by, I think, just 400 votes, which is insane. But I think that they're going to flip it this time, especially with Georgia trending more and more blue. I think that Ted Yoho seat, since he is retiring, it's going to get a little bit more competitive. However, it's still probably going to stay with the Republicans. I also think that, which seat is it? Florida's 15th Congressional District is also going to narrow up a very little bit. Florida did go to the Republicans on both the gubernatorial and Senate level back in 2018, and because Joe Biden is favored to win Florida, I think that it will narrow up and increase the Democrats' margins in a bunch of these congressional districts. Nothing really too notable to talk about in the South. Tennessee is not going to be safe. I do think that the seat that Amy McGrath ran for last time, Kentucky's 6th Congressional District with Barr, I think is going to move back into a likely characterization. The state of Ohio, I think it's generally going to stay the same. I don't see the margins changing as well. The state of Michigan, this is quite interesting. Some of these, I think that they're going to go back into the solid Republican column. I think that, what's his name? Justin Amash's seat is going to be a lean margin for the Republicans. And however, I do think that Michigan's 6th Congressional District, the Democratic challenger, polling extremely high in this district, and because of that, I think that he's going to win by a lean margin. I also think, though, that Stevens, the flip back in 2018, is going to be back into a lean margin, however. So that's Michigan. The state of Indiana, I think that, I believe it's the 5th. Yes, the 5th Congressional District, an open seat. It's going to be a little close. However, I do think it's going to go to the Republicans in the end. I think that Illinois districts with Lauren Underwood and Caston, I think that they are going to go back into lean margins, and I think that Davis is going to very narrowly hold onto his seat like he did back in 2018. I think Wisconsin is going to stay the same. The state of Iowa, definitely some big changes here in favor of the Republicans. I think that with Steve King out, this is going to be moved back into a likely characterization. I think that Sydney Axine, I think she's going to win by a lean margin, and I think that Abby Finkenauer is going to win her district by a lean margin as well. However, I do think that the Republicans are going to flip Iowa's 2nd Congressional District, despite this being the most Democratic district of all. Generally just based off of the fact that it is an open seat, and it is the state of Iowa going to be on the presidential level, and I really can't see the Democrats retaining it as of this moment, but I could definitely see that change. When it comes to the state of Minnesota, some definitely big shakeups over here. I think that Colin Peterson, one of the most conservative Democrats in the House, I think that he's going to lose this district. I know that he did win it back in 2018, and this is a district that went to Donald Trump by over 30 points. However, I just generally don't see him winning it. However, I do see the Democrats very narrowly picking up Minnesota's 1st Congressional District, only decided by about 2,000, not even 2,000 votes back in 2018. I can see them improving on their margin, and in Minnesota's 8th Congressional District, I see them improving on their margin as well. And improving over here too. When it comes to Nebraska, I think that their 2nd Congressional District is also going to flip. I have a feeling that Cara Eastman, the Democratic challenger there, she has been raising a decent amount of money, not as much as Bacon. However, I think that they might be able to flip it, especially with Joe Biden pulling ahead in there. When it comes to the state of Missouri, in some polls, like previously a while back, Wagner was retaining onto her seat. However, the Democratic challenger is now ahead. However, I still think it's going to narrowly stay in the Republican column. When it comes to the state of Kansas, I have a feeling that with Steve Watkins out, this is going to go back into being a likely characterization, and I think that Sharice Davids, I think she's going to also retain her seat by a likely margin. The state of Arkansas, I completely forgot to. The state of Arkansas, I have a feeling I'm going to stay with French Hill. The state of Oklahoma, I have a feeling that Kendra Horn, she really kind of won by surprise back in 2018, and the Republicans have been spending a lot of money in this district. Kendra Horn herself spending a lot of money, but I just generally don't see her winning. When it comes to Texas, I think it's the 23rd. Yeah, the 23rd Congressional District, Will Hurd retiring. I can see the Democrats winning. A bunch of these districts, I can definitely see them narrowing up a little bit. I can also see Lizzie Fletcher's seat also narrowing up to a lean margin. But yeah, I think it's going to be hard for any Republicans to actually Democrats to actually try to flip these seats. However, in a state turning more and more blue, I could definitely see that happening. With Torres Small and New Mexico's 2nd Congressional District won it surprisingly back in 2018. I think that she is going to very narrowly hold her seat. When it comes to the state of Arizona, Schweikert, I think that he is going to very narrowly return onto hold his seat. The Democrats pulling ahead in polling, and with his, I believe it's federal ethics violation, I think that's definitely not helping him. However, he definitely could hold on to a seat and also lose. So this is definitely one race that I think that you need to watch on election night. State of Colorado, I don't really see any changes over there. Ben McAdams in the state of Utah, he's been raising a lot of money, a lot more than his Republican challengers. However, so did Heidi Heitkamp and Claire McCaskill back in 2018 with their Senate races, and they still were not able to win. They actually, Heidi Heitkamp lost by over 10 points. So I generally don't see Ben McAdams winning his seat. I think it's going to flip to the Republicans. When it comes to California, I think that, what's his name? Calvert, it narrowed up back in 2018. I think it's going to go back into a safe margin. I think that Amar Campanayar, I think that he's going to narrow up this seat with Duncan Hunter no longer being the nominee there, not even in Congress anymore. However, I do see it going to a very narrow margin to the Republicans. I believe it's a state senator who's a Republican nominee. However, Katie Porter's seat, I think, that's Jeff Cisneros. I think Katie Porter's seat's going to go to a lean margin. Mike Levin is probably going to go back into a safe. However, California's 25th Congressional District, a Republican incumbent, I can see it narrowly going to the Republican incumbent. I just generally don't see him losing at this point. However, Cox versus Valado, I believe that's how you say it, they're having a rematch, and I think that the Democrats probably going to improve on his margin, if anything. The 10th Congressional District 2, I have a feeling it's going to move into a likely characterization for the Democrats. I don't think anything's going to change in the state of Washington. The state of Alaska. This might be a little controversial, but I think it's going to be a tilt margin for the Republican, one of the longest serving Republicans in the House. Elise Galvin is challenging him once again a rematch, and she has been out fundraising him and has been slightly leading in polls. So I think that because of that, it's going to be super close. You can either see it going either way, but at this point, have it with the Republicans as of now. So this is my 2020 House ratings as of August 18th, 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and thank you.